Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 13 in Couch Cup number 3. And it is a very, very important game in this whole cup. It basically will decide whether Food Please still has a chance of winning or whether Fredinhiovic will basically go past him and be in a very, very good position to win this tournament. Of course, there's 2 more games after this, but this is the most important game of them all. We have the pairings of Food Please with Herr Acker and Fredinhiovic with Jesse the Emperor. Jesse the Emperor, of course, is always playing on 10% handicap, although he has improved quite a bit. And already we have a problem here for Fredinhiovic. He wanted to build his TC, but he's not able to build it because Herr Acker already dropped the TC next to the woodline. So Fredinhiovic wasting a lot of time here. He does not realize. He's like, why can't I build? Why are the villagers bugging out? But now, this is not a bug, it's a feature. Although I hate this feature, I think they should just remove the treaty zone from the game. And maybe we should have downloaded a custom version of Nomad to get rid of this. But alas, we didn't do this, so we should just keep playing. Food Please, playing here in red as the Hindustanis. Very strong civilization overall, having a lot of very good options in this game. Their camels very, very strong, especially on Nomad, because there's a lot of knight play out there. Jesse the Emperor in orange playing as the Slavs, a very boomy civilization, so he will probably go for knights. They're very strong farmers, which will be further helped by the 10% gathering rate increase by the villagers. So overall, I think Jesse could go for a booming approach. And then over here we have Acker in the green as the Hans, and he did go random, and you don't want to get the Hans. Very bad luck here for Acker. It's also very important for him to win this game so that he can basically stay ahead of Jesse the Emperor, because after this game they will only play together. So this is the only game where they can distinguish themselves from one another. And finally, Fredinhiovic in the blue, he has the Spanish, but he fumbled the start. So basically all the advantage that he had due to the Spanish was completely lost and wasted because he didn't realize that he wasn't able to build the TC there. And now let's see if he will be housed. But no, look at this. Look at how fast the Spanish villagers built the houses. So he's not gonna get housed in the beginning. Food Please over here having the dock in a very nice shoreline. Sometimes these Nomad maps can be quite uneven. You have this big ocean at the top and then the very narrow ocean at the bottom. So sometimes you just need to get lucky to drop next onto the right ocean. Now Fredinhiovic, as the Spanish, he probably wants to go for some kind of fast castle drop type of gameplay, but he might just be simply squeezed out. I mean, Herr Acker is right next to him, and Food Please will surely come forward and drop some towers. I mean, I cannot imagine Food Please not going for towers. I mean, yes, Hindustanis don't have any bonus for towers, but who cares? Jesse the Emperor now also falling victim to the disease that's been going around since this night. Yesterday evening, everyone was still fine, and this morning, everyone was wrecked. Well, not everyone. Food Please and I are still fine, at least so far, or we're not showing it. But yes, but the other players, Freddy especially wrecked. He didn't drink enough beers, and so he was, of course, didn't disinfect himself enough. So already some mistakes here in the game, but not losing the villagers to the boar. So he's still in a good condition overall. Let's look at the village numbers. Herr Acker in a terrible position because he has the Huns, having 8 villagers to the 13 of Food Please and Jesse the Emperor. This is ridiculous. And that shows you why Huns are just a bad civilization Nomad, because the start is just really, really bad. Now finally having the dock up, and he will finally be able to get some fishing ships of his own, but still, yes, he doesn't need to build houses, but is it worth it now? He needs to be careful with this villager walking forward, trying to lame underneath the TC, but this is this really a lame here? I don't think so. But oh, what a nice dodge here by Acker. It wasn't intentional, but it was almost perfectly executed. No arrow was hitting the hunter of Herr Acker. who now needs to take the food over here. Meanwhile, Fupri's just doing his typical thing, but he's playing very conservatively. He's like, I don't want to risk anything here. Fupri's maybe getting a little bit scared that he might come second again in one of these couch cups. He is used to that, of course, always coming second. But so far he was always coming second to Splay Buzzer, so he thought, okay, Splay Buzzer is not here, so I might be able to come first, but let's see. Let's see about that. Jesse the Emperor, on the other hand, improving with every game, much better setup than in the beginning of the cup already, and I wonder if 10% handicap might be too strong. He is always in the top score. He has a lot of villagers, has the most villagers of all the players, 21 compared to 15 of Herr Acker. Fredinhiovic struggling as well, only 19 villagers. So Fredinhiovic having a very, very bad start. He might not go for this very nice castle timing that he wanted to go for. Also lacking food. There is no boar nearby. Okay, now he found a boar near the top. I think it's... oh, yes, he did find it. Nope, but the boar does not want to follow, and so a lot of time is wasted. I hate that when that happens. You need to wait a little bit before you turn back around, and this will be bad because he's expecting the boar to come in, but there is no boar coming in because the boar just went back, and so there is no food income for Fredinhiovic at this moment. Well, there's a little bit on the berries, but this does not look good. He needs to have these competitive times. Now walking into the town center of Herr Acker, but Herr Acker doesn't realize, I think. He could just shoot down this villager. Yes, now he realizes that, and the villager just narrowly escapes, but this watchtower will get shot down immediately, not achieving anything, just wasting resources. Maybe now there's the second attempt to get the boar for Fredinhiovic. Meanwhile, Foodplease just doing his thing. He can do whatever he wants because he's just left alone here. Now, of course, looking for food as well, having none underneath the CC. He doesn't want to take the goose just yet. He likes geese, so he's doesn't want to take the goose at the gold mine that can just happily stay there now. Jesse the Emperor, what is he doing? Is he he's trying to lame the gold of Foodplease with a house? Yes, that's how it looks like, but I don't think it's going to be effective because the town center can just shoot the house down. Of course, that forces a lot of idle time for Foodplease, so I'm not sure if this is worth it overall. Now, Jesse the Emperor also reaching feudal age, and we see this every game. Jesse the Emperor just being the first in the feudal age, and then he's pumping out the fire galleys, and that's just so devastating because he basically can never compete with him. And look at this, he's the first up to feudal. He only has 23 villagers, but he still has a good amount of resources and could go for castle age soon. All the other players still waiting for their feudal age. Fredinhiovic now having 2 boars underneath the town center, so this is the respite that he needed to get enough food to maybe still go for this fast castle drop into Conquistador, sealing the deal. But at the same time, Jesse the Emperor now getting the market, which is one of the required buildings that he needs for the castle age, and he can also buy some stuff. I wonder if the market rates are also adjusted with the handicap, but probably not. That would be super overpowered. Foodplease now also in the feudal age, and if we look at his point of view, we can see that he is going for the market. He has quite a few resources in the bank. He needs a little bit more, but usually Foodplease just buys the food, and I think he will do that here. He will buy 100 food, sell 100 stone, and then I think he has enough for the castle age. Because otherwise, he's not quite gonna make it because he doesn't have any food income except for a couple of villages on berries, and even with buying 100 food, it's quite not quite enough, but he can just abuse the market a little bit more and go up at 32 pop. Now more laming here by Herr Acker, who also reached the feudal age, and Freddy now rushing up the market. But look at this, Foodplease already way up on the way to the castle age, and Fredinhiovic now clicking up And already we hear some desperate calls for the Emperor. Please, Emperor, save me! Which has become quite a bit of a regular occurrence in these games, where people start to rely on the Emperor to win the games, which I didn't expect in the beginning, but of course the Emperor improving with every game, so it of course makes sense. Now Acker also going to Market Blacksmith, so basically all the players going for FC. And if we look at them, Freddy on the way, Jesse on the way, Herr Acker not quite on the way. Herr Acker is quite behind, and not looking good for Herr Acker actually, I have to say. He's doing too much laming. He's trying to postpone. This is not good. Don't lame this gold mine. I mean, you always need to think about your own gold income as well. So I'm not sure if this laming is really worth it. You need to go for Castle Age because everyone else is in the Castle Age almost or already. Food Police, of course, being the first, just doing Food Police things. Of course, eco not perfect, but still, just use the market. If you're the first one to sell and buy, you also get the better rates. So it's always a good idea now going for the stable. But of course, he is the Hindustani. So let's see if he will go for the camels. And camels not as strong in raiding as other units. So I think it might have been better for him to even go for cav archers at this point. But we will see what he will go for. Of course, the camels also good against the expected conquistadors. But we see Fredinhiovic not taking... Well, he's taking stone over here. Let's see how much he has in the bank. Yes, he does have enough for the castle, and he is going up, but the camel is already out. But the camels, they're not as consequential, and so Freddy has to drop a defensive castle, but with all the villagers on the wrong side, and the camel is just having a field day here, and I think Freddy just needs to build. I mean, he will lose a couple villages maybe, but he just needs to get the castle up. This is gonna be disastrous otherwise, and already we see a siege workshop, the villagers fumbling, but still they are able to defend. But no, you need to build, Freddy, just build the freaking castle. I mean, you lose a few villagers, but what are a few villagers if you have the castle? Your villagers build faster, the camels don't have so much attack, they only have, well, they have enough. But yeah, this is a tense game. Now Camel's getting shot down. This camel could just be killed with the villagers by attacking the camel because it only has 5 HP. But the castle, of course, goes up, and now we can see the conquistadors. But the counter is already out, and Freddy, I don't know. I'm not sure if he should not transition from the stone. He has 0 on wood, 2 on food, and 3 on gold. This is not an economy where he can build anything. But now he's also lacking the stone to build a second castle. So I think the economy balance is just terrible in this game. And yeah, I don't know what the plan is. Freddy maybe wants to drop another castle over here. I think that would be a good idea. Just buy 100 stone, drop a second castle, and then go from there and hope that the Emperor does something as well. And the Emperor does something indeed. He is booming. And if we look at the villager numbers, well, he's not booming that much. Acker with 40 villagers, Jesse with 28, Freddy with 26, and Food Police with 34. So I would say advantage for Herr Acker and Food Police. Now Herr Acker also in the Castle Age. In the meantime, of course, getting a second town center up. There's some knights here from Jesse the Emperor, but maybe a little bit of an underreaction. There's pesky villagers again here from Food Police trying to do what he's done in previous games where he just watchtowered the other players. Now we have the conquistadors, but you don't lose the conks underneath the tower. No, Freddy, this is terrible. This is he has the strongest civilization here in his roster. But he's just fumbling, not getting a good start, and yeah, his economy is terrible. It's in complete shambles. First, he can do some nice raiding here with the conquistadors, but I think that Acker can just avoid the conks, maybe lose a couple villages. Now going for his own castle in the face of Fredinhiovic, and Jesse the Emperor meanwhile Yes, losing the knights to the camels because camels are the perfect counter to the knights. So maybe Jesse should think about going for something else. I mean, he is the Slav, so infantry would be basically the only option. And now the castle is up, and yes, and the second castle of Freddy has been denied. What was this castle attempt even? This was ridiculous. This didn't do anything. He should have just dropped it right here, just buy 100 stone, drop it here a couple minutes ago, and this could have been a different game. But I think this is GG. I mean, look at this. Freddy has nothing. Freddy has 24 villagers, and Jesse has 31 villagers, and I think this is a clean sweep by Team Herr, Acker, and Food Please. Now the camel's raiding underneath the town center. The camel's not that strong, you would think, but no. They don't even have bloodlines, but it doesn't matter because Jesse does not react at all, and so all these villagers are getting chopped up with the scimitars of the camels, and also more knights being sacrificed to the camels over here, which are the perfect counter. And Mangonel now out. Jesse down to 20 villagers. He's not reacting at all. I don't know where he is with his attention. But he has zero reaction at home. I don't know where he is. He probably has some kind of laming going on somewhere. Yeah, and also Freddy being ousted, his town center being shot down. He has nothing again. Freddy being squeezed, and we saw that in the last games yesterday, where Freddy just was squeezed and couldn't do anything. He's now down to 19 pop. Yeah, I don't know what's happening to this player. He played so strongly, and now he's just easily ousted, easily destroyed. Now we have finally some pikemen out here, but still there's already siege, and still the camels don't take so much bonus damage from the pikemen. So yes, now the Mangonel also getting shot down. And we just need a lot more pikemen, but there's no economy to afford the pikemen if you only have 18 villages. Now the other players, Acker and Fupli, is having 40 and 43 villagers. So I think we all know where this game is going. In the starting town center of Fredinhiovic, again, just being castle dropped and just being shot down. And we have seen this now one time too often. Also, Freddy even in the bottom score of the entire game. Whereas it's smooth sailing for Fupli, so it looks like Fupli wants to cling on to his chances to actually get the win in this cup. Having the camel riders, missing a lot of upgrades still, using them like they were knights, but yeah, losing a lot of HP, but it doesn't matter because you can just keep the entire economy of Freddy idle, although now he's losing a lot of them. If you want to throw the game, this is one way to do it. Just lose all your military underneath the town center, and that's exactly what he's basically doing here. But now the Knights of Herr Acker coming in, so it's a 1-2 punch by Team Fuplis and Herr Acker. Herr Acker doing a little bit too much laming for my taste, but still quite effective because Freddy was just so late with everything. And yes, he has a few conks, but I think the big power spike of the Conquistadors is already over. And there's a lot of town centers here, another castle coming up defensively for Herr Acker. And I think the conks just loop around and hit Fuplis' economy, because Fuplis' economy is traditionally way more open than other people's economies. This is just how he likes to play. But yeah, I think Jesse and Freddy can call this game. There's constant pressure coming out here by Jesse the Emperor, or by Fuplis against Jesse the Emperor, and also by Acker on Fredinhiovic. Acker, of course, now taking some time to boom. He has a lot of idols, but it doesn't matter because he has so many more villages. He can afford 10 idols, and he still has 50% more working economy than the other players. And yes, the conks are strong, but I think Freddy will also just lose them over time. He's now running underneath the castle. He has no upgrades, losing one conk, losing the second conk. That's it, 2 more conks down. And yeah, I don't really see it. Also now Tarkans being created, and Tarkans have high pierce armor. and they have a bonus damage against buildings, so he could just pump out the Tarkans and then yeah, just go from there basically and just kill all the buildings without even creating a single siege unit. This is what Herr Acker could do. And of course, you could get the unique tech Marauders, which would allow you to create the Tarkans at the stable. But I think Herr Acker already has 2 castles. He is fine. He can just produce from them, and even has Marauders. He just tells us, so he knows about the tech. Very nicely done. Unexpected. And yes, a little bit of a stalemate over here. Poopy's coming out with these siege elephants, but the siege elephants just die to the pikemen, which is a drawback of the Indian civilizations, that the siege elephants are just have just this weakness, but they're also overall a little bit stronger than the rams, especially when fighting units. So it's not like they're objectively just worse in every situation. And now Fupis being a little bit pushed back here even. Jesse finding his grip in the game a little bit more. I like that very much. He needs to also think about the economy, but there's another ballsy castle drop over here, just denying a couple of lumberjacks, but Acker says that is good enough for me. And yeah, he just drops another castle into the face of Fredinhiovic, who is the Spanish. He should be doing the castle drops, but no, it's Jesse the Emperor doing the castle drops here. And this is going to be disastrous again for Freddy, losing more conks, losing more villagers, everything is idle, everything is a disaster. And yeah, I think that Team Fupis and Herr Acker need to throw this game basically. And they're trying to do that by letting Jesse the Emperor back into this game. Now Jesse has Spearman, he has Knights, but now we see some monks to convert some pikemen, some juicy pikemen that can then focus on the knights that have been tasked to attack a lumber camp of all things. So overall quite effective, this monk. And yes, but still maybe this game is not over. But if you look at the economy, Fupi is at 60 villagers at this point. He has more villagers than the other players combined. So this is gonna be a real tough one, but we have seen turnarounds. But yeah, now the Marauders are in. The Tarkin still missing a few upgrades. But if you have a couple more Tarkans, then you could just destroy the town center, especially if you get one more defense upgrade, and the town centers have 5 attack. And I think that Jesse will get raided again. He didn't react in his first raid, and I think that really lost him the game. The camels were killing, I think, at least 12 villagers underneath the town center, like without any reaction, and I think that lost the game for Jesse the Emperor. Whereas for Fredinhiovic, it was the classic 1-2 squeeze, where he was just squeezed by his opponents, starting to see the knight, starting to see it down. And now he has nothing except a few military units, and he can fully micro with his 6 conquistadors that he has left. And I think now also Puplis getting ahead. Oh, and look at the raids again. No reaction by Jesse the Emperor. No reaction. 0 reaction. All the villages go down underneath the town center. Oh, God. And now the town center will go down because there is no villagers garrisoned, because there is no villagers anymore. Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. And now the pikemen killing a villager instead of fighting the camels. This is just bad. Terrible situation here for Team Jesse the Emperor and Fredinhiovic. And I think, yeah, the team will just have to call it at some point, because look at this desolate farmland, nothing there. Now finally Jesse garrisoning 2 villages, but anyways, the Marauders could just stay there and finish the town center anyways. But yeah, he's probably wise to not quite go for that. Now we have some conks, but it's just 3 conks. What are the 3 conks gonna do? Nothing! Nothing! Now he has to run back to his castle, and that means that more villagers will go down. So much raiding going on, and I think it's gonna be GG. I mean, 63 villagers for Fuplis, 15 for Jesse the Emperor, and 13 of those are idle. So this means he's completely out of the game. He cannot contribute anything, and Freddy losing the conks. He was never able to build the critical mass that you need. So conks are very strong, but you need this critical mass after some time, and he never got to that. And now the siege elephants are there. Look at those, or the armored elephants, rather. Siege elephant is the upgrade in the Imperial Age. Look at those majestic beasts rolling in, or rather wobbling in. And they will just be able to kill the town center of the Emperor himself. And then this will be over, I guess. Freddy, of course, trying to get back into this game. He knows the situation by now quite well. Being squeezed, completely ousted out of the game, and then trying to desperately come back. So I think in this situation what he should have done is just resign and let Jesse the Emperor just do it himself. But like he did in one of the team games we played. But yes, it's a really dire situation. Although he was able to get quite a decent villager number, but this is compensated for by the 9 villagers of Jesse the Emperor, which are left in this game. 8 of them are here. I don't know where the 9th is. Probably maybe some stray fishing ship. And yeah, we see the Great Migration going on, although this map is nomad and not migration, but still we see the villagers migrating, trying to escape, maybe trying to build a new base somewhere else. But now you see the problem, like, okay, now he has a good number of conks, so he can finally fight the camels, but still the camels get a pick off here and there, and every conk you lose is really, really bad. Also, I think Freddy's still missing a lot of the upgrades. I don't think he doesn't have bloodlines, for instance. I don't know if he has husbandry. Also missing defense upgrades. It's really tricky. Also the Tarkans, I think, pretty strong against the conks. The Pierce armor, yes, I mean the Pierce attack is much higher, but still a lot of this is already absorbed there by the Pierce armor of the Tarkans. And I think we're just waiting for them to call it, and I think, yes, Freddy booming ahead, but it's just not enough. 9 villagers of the Emperor. Now, now going to his opponent's, to his allies' base to chop some wood. Some lovely wood chopping here in the back of Freddy's base. But it's just not enough. Also the conks alone, they cannot fight the Tarkans, camels, and the armored elephants. And also this position is just so bad. And oh god, what is this engagement here by Freddy? Losing everything underneath the castle. None of his conks are fighting. Oh man, losing absolutely everything. He's not fighting at all. He should have just left the conks in the castle and then do a concerted effort. But yeah, I think we're just waiting for the players to GG out, and it looks like Fuplis is about to equalize the score, and there's 2 more games being played after that. And also Herr Acker. Yes, Herr Acker has also equalized the score with myself at this point, but there's 2 more games coming up. So let's see if one of the players will lame the other player by throwing again. But I think that that should not be allowed. Every player has to try their best, otherwise it's no fun. Throwing is only allowed in the community games. Now the armored elephants walking slowly through the map, trying to get to this castle, but we're just waiting for this game to end. basically. Although Freddy booming back into the game, but it's just too late, too little, too late, because their opponents already have so much military. Look at this: 32 military for Acker, 29 for Food Please, 0 for the other team. It takes a long time until you can build up those masses, and so basically there is no hope for Team Fredinhiovic and Jesse the Emperor. Now the armored elephants attacking this castle of Radius. They're still building the conquistadors, now going for a castle behind the castle, which is an interesting move, but I think it will just get battered down by the elephants anyways. And the conch just instantly dies to the camels, which are of course a good counter to the conch. The castle goes down, and the second castle isn't even up yet, and the elephants are already coming in. Brady GG's out, has resigned, and I think that Jesse the Emperor also says GG, and the game is over. And we can quickly look at the timeline, and we see the traditional Freddy squeeze here in the Castle Age. He did come back later very nicely, but then Jesse was squeezed. So either player was squeezed at some point in the game. And yeah, a nice win for Acker and Fuplis, who did work very well as a team as well. So good job by them. And so this was game number 12 in the Couch Cup number 3, and I'm hyped for game number... No, this was game number 13 already. So I'm hyped for game number 14.